Maybe the dingo ate your baby. The dingo ate your baby. Said by Elaine, of course, which was actually a reference to an Australian film called A Cry in the Dark, in which an Australian woman named Lindy Chamberlain Creighton was accused of murdering her baby. So Chamberlain Creighton, a dingo, ran off with it, which is based off of a true story. So The Stranded. Fun fact: this episode actually was originally aired in season 3. It was originally produced, though, for season 2, but Larry David wasn't too thrilled with it, so he postponed the air date. But then eventually, of course, it changed, and of course, it still is on the season 2 DVD. But of course, though, because it didn't get aired till season 3, there was some continuity issues, because it was I think produced around the time after I think George was jobless, because it was not long after the episode I think where George got fired for poisoning his boss after he originally quit on them. I think it was 1 to 2, but that's why, of course, there was on the DVD there was an introduction playing with Jerry Seinfeld mentioning there could be some continuity errors because this episode ended up airing at a later date. But so yeah, that's something I learned about show business. Not all episodes air, whenever, they were on the DVDs, as I've noticed on other sitcoms. But, so The Stranded. The main story of this episode was George was going to a party. And he was going with some woman that he was kind of having a fling with in his office named Ava, I believe it was. And he wanted Jerry and Elaine to go with him. They weren't crazy about it, but they still went. And the party was, the other thing too is the party was like far away. It was out in Long Island, about like an hour away. Of course, so Jerry and Elaine were like, okay, here's a code, like, if we need help each other, patting on the heads. Well, again, they were bored beyond belief. And again, no offense to them, but they kind of were very petty, as I always keep saying. They were petty at times about things. So people try to make conversation, and Elaine's patting her head like crazy, but Jerry will not notice it. But then they're ready to go. But of course, George was really hitting it off with Ava, and she wanted George to ride her home. Well, George didn't want to ride Jerry and Elaine back because he wanted to drive back with just Ava. So Jerry's like, we'll get a ride. So they call Kramer. But Kramer got lost on his way up because he had the window open on the Long Island Expressway and the directions flew out the window. So he remembered the numbers involved in the house number. So he literally went to every house number on that street that had those numbers involved until he finally found the correct one. And as they were leaving, Jerry tells the husband, thanks for this, if you ever need anything, just let me know. If you're in town, want to go to, a comedy club, just, come by. He gave him his address and phone number. Well, then Kramer also says, by the way, I couldn't get the hood up on the convertible. And then Elaine's like, but it's 40 degrees out. And sure enough, not long after that, they both got colds. Well, George talks him into, them going out. But Jerry mentions how he has to stop at the drugstore. Probably just help him with his cold. But as he's leaving, the husband, I think his name was Scott, shows up at the house, at his apartment, and he's like, if you want to hang out here, cool, says buddy, because he was in town for something. He goes, I'm sorry, he says, I'm already had plans to go out. So Jerry goes out, but Kramer came in, hung out with the guy for the whole time. And let me see, we'll double check. What was his name again? His name was Steve. I'm sorry, his name was Steve. Not Scott, Steve. So they hang out, they get a drink. They also call up a hooker also. Now in a subplot episode, small subplot, which was not really anything too major, George had an incident at the drugstore at the beginning of the episode where he accused a woman of shortchanging him. He gave a 20 for something that was $10, and she didn't give him the right change. So when they go back to of course, he was escorted out by security. So when they go stop by a drugstore again, George needs some, but he just puts it in his shirt saying, basically he was going to be shoplifting, but he's like, I already paid them, the amount rate from the one that they shortchanged me. But he gets caught again and he gets thrown out. And then when Jerry gets back to the apartment, when the hooker was there after Kramer and Steve both leave, Jerry basically has to pay this woman $50 because she didn't get paid up. But then the cops arrive and they threaten to arrest Jerry for soliciting. Elaine arrives then with soup, and then there was some scene afterwards with George and Jerry just chilling and watching pizza, and that was all she wrote. I kind of don't blame Larry David. Again, this is another episode that was just like I said, most of the earlier episodes, they were like, meh, whatever. Like The Apartment, this is another one I was like a, meh, whatever. That's all I gotta say. That's the only really fact, again, is the fact that, like I said, this was originally supposed to be a season. It was originally aired for season 3, but, again, they still put it on a season 2 DVD since it was originally produced during season 2. So, what can you say? But that is the Stranded. Next episode, I believe, is the Statue, believe it or not. I'll see you guys in that next time. So, once again, guys, what are your thoughts on the Stranded? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video, and subscribe for more content to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBoy93. Until then, guys, checking out. I'll see you all later. Have a good night. Peace out, everybody.